Hey guys, this is pretty much part 3. Oh, I need to destroy this. This is part 3 of the Hunger Games book. It's like my part 3 video. But, it's still chapter 1 and we're only on page 11. And the end of this chapter is way farther down. I gotta find the end of the chapter, actually. It's on page 24. We got a while to go. We got like 3 more videos of the first chapter. Anyway, let's get started. Besides, if he wants kids, Gale won't have any trouble finding a wife. He's good looking, he's strong enough to handle the work in the mines, and he can hunt. You can tell by the way the girls whisper about him when he walks by in school that they want him. It makes me jealous, but not for the reason people would think. Good hunting partners are hard to find. What do you want to do? I ask. We can hunt, or fish, or gather. Let's fish at the lake. We can leave our poles and gather in the woods. Get something nice for tonight, he says. Tonight, after the reaping, everyone is supposed to celebrate, and a lot of people do, out of relief that their children have been spared for another year. But at least 2 families will pull their shutters, lock their doors, and try to figure out how they will survive the painful weeks to come. We make out well. The predators ignore us on a day when easier, tastier prey abounds. By late morning, we have a dozen fish, a bag of greens, and best of all, a gallon of strawberries. I found a patch a few years ago, but Gale had the idea to string mesh nets around it to keep out the animals. On the way home, we swing by the Hob, the black market that operates in an abandoned warehouse that once held coal. When they came up with a more efficient system that transported the coal directly from the miners to the trains, the Hob gradually took over the space. Most businesses are closed by this time on reaping day, but the black market's still fairly busy. We trade 6 of the fish for good bread, the other 2 for salt. Greasy Say, the bony old woman who sells bowls of hot soup from a large kettle, takes half the greens off our hands in exchange for a couple of chunks of paraffin. We might do a tad better elsewhere, but we make an effort to keep on good terms with Greasy Say. She's the only one who can constantly be counted on to buy wild dog. We don't hunt them on purpose. But if you're attacked and you take out a dog or 2, well, meat is meat. Once it's in the soup, I'll call it beef. Greasy Say says with a wink. No one in the seam would turn up their nose to a good leg of wild dog. But the peacekeepers who came to the Hob can afford to be a little bit choosier. When we finish our business at the market, we go to the back door of the mayor's house to sell half the strawberries, knowing he has particular fondness for them and can't afford our price. The mayor's daughter, Madge, opens the door. She's in my year at school. Being the mayor's daughter, you expect her to be like a snob, but she's alright. She just keeps to herself, like me. Since neither of us really has a group of friends, we seem to end up together a lot at school. Eating lunch, sitting next to each other at assemblies, partnering for sports activities. We rarely talk, which suits us both just fine. Today her drab school outfit has been replaced by an expensive white dress, and her blonde hair is done with a pink ribbon. Reaping clothes. Pretty dress, says Gale. Mad shoots him a look, trying to see if it's a genuine compliment or if he's just being ironic. It is a pretty dress, but she would never be wearing it ordinarily. She presses her lips together when she smiles. Well, if I end up going to the Capitol, I want to look nice, don't I? Now it's Gale's turn to be confused. Does she mean it? Or is she messing with him? I'm guessing the second. You won't be going to the capital, says Gale coolly. His eyes land on a small, circular pin that adorns her dress. Real gold. Beautifully crafted. It could keep a family and breed for months. What can you have? 5 entries? I had 6 when I was just 12 years old. That's not her fault, I say. No, it's no one's fault. It's just the way it is, says Gale. Madge's face has become closed off. She puts the money for the berries in my hand. Good luck, Katniss. You too, I say, and the doors close. We walk toward the seam in silence. I don't like that Gale took a dig at Madge. But he's right. Of course, the reaping system is unfair, with the poor getting the worst of it. You become eligible for the reaping the day you turn 12. That year, your name is entered in once. At 13, twice, and so on and so forth until you reach the age of 18, the final year of eligibility. When your name goes into that pool 7 times, that's true for every citizen in all 12 districts in the entire country of Panem. But there's the catch. Say you're poor and starving as we are. You can opt to add your name more times in exchange for tessera. Each tessera is worth a meager year's supply of grain and oil for one person. So many do this for each of your family members as well. So at the age of 12, I had my name entered 4 times. Once because I had to, and 3 times for tessera for grain. Once because I had to, and 3 times for tessera for grain and oil for myself, Prim, and my mother. In fact, every year I needed to do this, and the entries were cumulative. So now at the age of 16, my name will be in the reaping 20 times. Gale, who is 18, has been either helping or single-handedly feeding a family for 5 or 7 years. Will have his name 42 times. You can see why someone like Madge, who has never been at risk of needing a tessera, can set him off. The chance of her name being drawn is very slim compared to those of us who live in the sea. Not impossible, but slim. And even though the rules were set up by the capital, not the districts, certainly not Madge's family. It's hard not to resent those who didn't have to sign up for tessera. Gale knows his anger at Madge is misdirected on other days, deep in the wood, I've listened to him rant about how the tessera are just another tool to cause misery in our district. A way to plant hatred between starving workers of the seam and those who can generally count on supper and thereby ensure we will never trust one another. So it's the capital's advantage to have us divided among ourselves. He might say, if there were no ears to hear but mine. If it wasn't reaping day, if a girl with a gold pin and no tessera had not made that what I'm sure she thought was a harmless comment. As we walk, I glance over at Gale's face, still smoldering underneath a stony expression. His rages seem pointless to me, although I never say so. It's not that I don't agree with him. I do. But what good is yelling about the capital in the middle of the woods? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make things fair. It doesn't fill our stomachs. In fact, it scares off the nearby game. I let him yell, though. It's better he does it in the woods than in the district. Alright, guys, that's the end of part 3. I hope you liked it. Bye!